It's actually special for me, actually.
Yeah.
Because in last April there, I suffered.
Susan Boyle surprised the crowd in 2009 when she appeared on Britain's Got Talent because of the emotional and passionate intensity of her voice. The surprising contrast between her modest appearance, a middle-aged woman with gray hair, and the audience's preconceptions about her powers, however, was what really made her performance exceptional. She exceeded expectations with her legendary performance of I Dreamed a Dream. Susan transformed from a talent show participant to a beacon of courage during that memorable audition. However, Susan Boyle's path to achievement was characterized by a number of difficult situations. Her resolve was put to the test by constant bullying as well as health issues. Join us as we explain what happened to Susan Boyle. Susan, you have been waiting all day to do that. How did it feel? For the first 51 years of her life, Susan believed she had suffered brain damage as a result of a brief lack of oxygen at her birth. However, in 2013, medical specialists provided a different diagnosis. Susan discovered she has Asperger's syndrome, a sort of spectrum disorder. The Scottish singer stated that this diagnosis has helped her gain a better understanding of herself by putting light on specific parts of her behavior and experiences. She described the diagnosis as providing her with a sense of clarity and self-awareness. She believes that recognizing her neurodivergent illness has helped her navigate her own journey. Susan has received insights into her own thought processes and behaviors as a result of learning more about Asperger's syndrome, allowing her to embrace her differences with a fresh perspective. Aside from the incorrect diagnosis of brain damage, Susan was accurately diagnosed with epilepsy at a young age. At a 2011 interview with the Daily Mail, the Britain's Got Talent sensation disclosed that she had seizures on a regular basis while at school, giving her childhood bullies even more ammunition to torture her. Susan revealed that her mother, who suffered from epilepsy and was unclear of how to manage the condition, tried to protect her by treating her with utmost caution. Even with her parents, Susan's epilepsy issues were not publicly mentioned, which added to her feeling alone in school. Although she frequently experienced fainting spells, she had never discussed them in public before that interview. Susan was frustrated by the medical community's ignorance about epilepsy at the time, reflecting on their comprehension of the condition. Even in the public eye, she thought, the common consensus was that mental health was linked to diseases like epilepsy. Her candor regarding this area of her life advances a larger discussion about health awareness and dispelling myths about neurological disorders. Susan endured a terrible upbringing as a result of constant bullying, which was perpetrated by both her teachers and peers. Susan revealed that the abuse went beyond simple verbal comments. She was also frequently beaten with a belt by teachers who did not understand the needs of students with learning problems. This mistreatment, which resulted from a lack of understanding, had a long-lasting detrimental effect on her schooling. Susan acknowledged that she was a slow learner and that this contributed to her difficulties in school, taking longer than her peers to understand ideas. Because of how quickly the educational system moved, she was constantly falling behind. Susan's school years were the worst of her life because of the abuse she suffered outside of the classroom from her classmates. Harassers. She considered her accomplishments, including her triumphs on talent shows, as a potent means of taking back control of her life and exacting revenge on those who had mistreated her. Susan used the song you'll hear on her debut album as a way to exact revenge on the individuals who had mistreated her. Not only was Susan tormented at school, but her father, Patrick Boyle, a retired miner who died in 1997, beat her physically on a regular basis. The Britain's Got Talent singer revealed in an interview that she suffered from long-lasting mental damage as a child because her father would frequently lose his temper with her. Susan said that she needed a significant amount of time to get over the abuse's aftereffects. Susan felt that acceptance was a sign of maturity and an essential component of the healing process. She acknowledged that it would be challenging, but she also underlined how important it is to let go and replace those sad memories with a fresh sense of self. As one of 9 children in a large Catholic household, Susan Boyle's mother Bridget was a calm, kind woman who performed a vital role. In addition to being Susan's mother, Bridget also served as her guardian and artistic inspiration. When Bridget turned 70 years old, she started painting and produced stunning pictures of settings from the Mediterranean that are currently hanging on Susan's walls. Sadly, Bridget died shortly before Susan Boyle became well known. Susan makes a strong link between these two incidents. Susan feels her mother, even in spirit, is still guiding and supporting her since she made a commitment to her to do something worthwhile with her life. Susan claims to sense her mother's constant presence and believes that her mother's intervention contributed to her achievement. Susan could afford to live in a posh house, but she has decided to let her niece live there instead. She still resides alone in the council house owned by her mother. She also suffered the loss of a sister and a brother in recent years. Susan still has persistent challenges as a result of the untimely deaths of her parents and 2 siblings. It's hard to recall that Susan didn't win the 2009 season of Britain's Got Talent given her amazing success. She was the first runner-up in the end. In light of the high expectations and extensive media coverage that preceded the finals, Susan found it difficult to accept that she had not received enough votes from the general people. There were rumors that she threw water at the floor manager of the concert to vent her annoyance, and said things like, "Hates the show." Later that evening, she was visited by police when hotel personnel in London voiced concerns about her unusual behavior. Susan afterwards checked herself into the Priory, a psychiatric hospital. Susan was also diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in 2016. This led her to give up chocolate, her one and only vice. For the benefit of her general health, the well-known Britain's Got Talent contestant made the decision to completely cut out the sugary treat from her diet. She currently takes prescription medicine to treat her illness. A worldwide health emergency emerged, making Susan's life increasingly challenging. Diabetes was thought to make a person more susceptible to health issues, highlighting the significance of taking preventative measures. Susan took steps to limit exposure, remaining indoors as much as possible, and stressing the significant repercussions of getting sick because she was aware of the potential risks linked with her disease. A deep family division that had existed in the past was sparked by Susan Boyle's amassed money. The renowned singer blamed her wealth for severing the once close ties among her family in 2014 as she struggled with the fallout from her fame. The rift started as a bitter argument over Susan's money and the prominence she had gained following her quick ascent to fame on Britain's Got Talent in 2009. There were 2 factions within the family. 2 factions arose: Jerry, Mary, and John, and Bridie, Alan, Joanne, Jacqueline, and Kirsty. When reports emerged that Jerry had blackmailed Susan for £50,000, tensions increased. The strain in the family dynamics persisted despite Jerry's denial, which upset Susan, who was trying very hard to patch up the broken ties. Susan made an effort to close the gaps by giving family members financial support, investing in businesses, and giving out bailouts. But these initiatives simply served to widen the rift within the family and exacerbate the financial problems. In the end, the family's shared ideal of happiness through fame and wealth was dashed, leaving Susan in a state of despair and without a clear route to healing. Susan astonished viewers in 2023 with a performance at the 4th season finale of Britain's Got Talent. Following her riveting performance, the Scottish singer opened up about her health and disclosed that she had suffered a stroke in April 2022. Susan conveyed her happiness at being able to perform and said that her recent health change made the occasion even more memorable. The show's creator and chief judge, Simon Cowell, praised her fortitude and said he was aware of her health issues. She posted pictures from the amazing evening to her Instagram account as well. Susan recapped in her post the honor of competing on Britain's Got Talent once more and sharing the stage with the Les Miserables actors. Susan talked about the work she had done over the past year to get well, concentrating on improving her singing and speaking skills in order to eventually go back on stage. She expressed her happiness that her perseverance and hard work had paid off in her Instagram message, enabling her to perform the song that signaled the start of her incredible journey. "I dreamed a dream.